Welcome. This episode of Dr. Joey's old-timey mental sciencey snake oil medicine show involves influencing the decision of others to make them have your way. This is going to be illustrated in the correct guessing of a card that someone is thinking of, but it's really all about forcing someone to think what you want them to think. And this is a trick based on a trick that most people have seen before, where the asker asks the victim or the spectator to think of a card, and then, of course, the mentalist, magician, priest, holy man, alchemist, sorcerer, witch, Wiccan, whatever, guesses what the card is. But see, the thing about this trick is that it's all preset in the preparation. The guesser doesn't actually guess what the spectator has chosen. Instead, the magician mentalist forces the spectator to think of the card that he wants them to think of. And here's an example of it. Go to YouTube and look up Mind Experiment with Derren Brown. D-E-R-R-E-N Brown. Take a look at it. It's about the star of the video is Derren Brown, D-A-R-R-E-N Brown, a world famous mentalist. Actually, it's D-E-R-R-E-N Brown on the video that Mr. Brown puts up himself. My script is spelt by someone on autopilot, it seems. In this video, Mr. Brown essentially asks you to think of any card. He asks you to think now. He's doing it for you. And then he guesses it. So pause right here for a second. Go watch that video, Mind Experiment with Derren Brown. You'll get so much more out of this if you do. All right. Did you watch the video yet? Good. Make sure you watch it first before continuing, because it'll just blow your mind. Did he guess right when he asked what your card was? Well, for me, he did guess correctly. And I even knew how it worked. But did you? Do you know how it works? Mr. Brown does it with what's called forces. Forces, not like Star Wars Force, but he forced. In mentalism and magic, a force is where you make someone think that they have a choice, but they really don't. You lead them down the primrose path, as Mr. John Roper used to speak. Mr. John Roper is with roperlaw.com. He's super duper experienced in employment law, Fair Labor Standards Act, civil rights, bad creditors, the people with the consumer law. Anything you got like that, contact him at roperlaw, roperlaw.com. He's getting a little older, and this sort of excitement on the new cases keeps him vibrant. If he can't help you, his daughter Haley, who is very well versed in international employment law, labor law, and is nationally known, can also help you as well. I practiced for a long time with Mr. Roper. He's a good man. His daughter's a good person. And if you have trouble with discrimination, civil rights, or you being abused by your creditors and bad business practices, get in touch with them. Anyway, Derren Brown uses suggestion and subliminal messages very heavily in his tricks. So we're going to look at the subliminal moves that he makes in the trick that's in the video. This is just used for this trick, but variations can be constructed based on this. This is foundational. If you get the point of the exercise, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you're just a mimic, and sometimes you can have those tactile mimics, they don't really understand the why, but they do know the how. They can mimic, think Taskmaster and Marvel Comics. They don't have the skills innate, they just have the mimicry. And that'll mess you up, because what you want to have right now is you want to understand the subliminals and how the stuff works. First of all, Mr. Brown starts by making a diamond shape with his hands as he explains how the trick works. And he's forcing you subconsciously to choose diamonds. Go back and look at the video. You'll see he puts it right in your face. Now, this isn't going to work every time, but it does work surprisingly well. More often than you think it would on most people. Especially if they don't know, because you're preloading the subconscious. Now, he doesn't just flash that hand signal at you, of course, and take it away instantly. But no, he keeps it in your face. He nudges you a couple of times before he puts his hands back down. And then immediately afterwards, he starts to draw little threes with his finger. And he does it a few times. He does it 3 times, actually. 3 times he draws threes. Again, nobody would suspect this unless they knew what the card was beforehand. You wouldn't even pay attention until afterwards. And then look what he does next. He actually shows you the number 3 with his fingers. But he does so in a very subliminal way. He doesn't show the 3 fingers like normal people would when they want to say 3. Instead, he does it differently for 2 reasons. First of all, it looks like the number 3. If you take your right hand, look at the way his hand is shaped. It looks like a number 3 head on in the negative. Next, pointing up 3 fingers would look strange, so the way he does it is much more natural. Finally, for the last one, he points his finger at the camera 3 times while saying boom 3 times. That's enough to successfully get inside your head. And after that, he tells you to say the cards you're thinking of, and of course, boom, it's the 3 of diamonds. You can actually do this trick yourself using the script, and you can have your people write down the card. There's actually been a study where that's been done. And the study is basically called Influencing Choice Without Awareness. It's a article in the Journal of Consciousness and Cognition, which is an Elsevier academic journal. Influencing Choice Without Awareness. So this is, I'm trying to see what my date is here. It looks like this was done in 2015, and you can find it by Googling, of course, the J.A. Olson et al. Consciousness and Cognition XXX 2015 XXX. Influencing Choice Without Awareness. They use that, this very thing, as one of the examples. It's the way the human is wired. Oh no. I seem to have lost. Shit. Mouse. So let me come over here and get back to where we're at here. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be suave, but I'm just not going to do it. Okay, anyway. So what we've got now is shit. Now then, we have to ask ourselves, is it really that easy? He does his hand in the shape of a diamond. He boom, boom, boom. He 3 with his fingers as he draws a 3 in the air 3 times. Yeah, it is. It's just that easy. But it has to come off as natural. You actually need to practice it until it's second nature, muscle memory. You have to memorize the exact script, even when you're constructing your own. Because it might just sound like he's just talking nonsense, but this script is going to be the exact same every single time he performs his trick. Because that's how you preload and hack a human brain and human behavioral system. The delivery and the timing of his little gestures are key in making it work. Now, does it need to be the 3 of diamonds? Not necessarily, but that's probably the easiest one to get across, simply because it's the nature of the script and the gestures. Imagine trying to do the thing with the 10 of hearts. It's possible, yeah, but think. Boom, 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 boom. Not naturally at all unless you're a 1950s finger gunner. Oh, it's not natural at all. But practice it. Try it out on your friends and family first. It's a lot more effective than you think. Now, obviously, it won't work every time, but it works more often than you think. Its subliminal messages are powerful, and they can affect the mind a lot more forcefully than most people think. A world-renowned hypnotist mentalist like Darren Brown would not put up a video like that on YouTube if it only worked on a small percentage of the people, a small percentage at the time. Ironically enough, in the scientific academic study that they did with an untrained person with no muscle memory, with no real showmanship or delivery, it worked 1/3 of the time on random samplings. 1/3 of the time, and that's on people experiencing the herky jerkiness of someone that's not schooled in the script. Can you imagine someone that is? It helps a whole lot to pay attention to what people are doing, how they use their body language and stuff like that, because you can influence decisions. There are other ways that you can influence a person's decision as well, and that's going to be something of another day. That would be something more likely that I would give in a live presentation, because it's just not something that I feel comfortable with putting out on record. Most of the stuff that I've put in these Masterclass mental science medicine show stuff is a variant of other things that you can find on the internet, of other things that you can find on YouTube, of other classes, other presentations, other teachers. I'm doing these so that I have something of my own that's done quasi in my format. This is definitely a one take, one and done. Don't believe in editing. You get me just like I would be on the street, just like it would be if you ran into me. I am working on a quasi script, but for the most part, as you can tell, it's by the seat of my pants and off the cuff. I'll fuck with you more than enough for you to holler and say, please go away. Leave me alone. Don't fuck with me today. At least a lot of people do. So what we got here tonight and what we've done here today, this evening, as a part of this particular series that I've done right now, is we learn how to spot lies. We learned interrogation techniques, and we've learned how to influence decisions of other people. If you've got the point of the assignment, then you understand that each one of the things that I've used, especially with the card trick and the influencing decisions, is but an example. And just like the great teacher Jesus taught by parable, because it's really hard to break down his lessons into thou shalt or thou shalt nots. A lot of times it's very hard to instill the necessary lesson without the use of examples, parables, or illustrations. And if you go through a number of illustrations on the influencing decisions aspect, which again you can find on YouTube and do your research, you'll see the common threads. The goal is for you to inductively come to understand inside of yourself the lesson being presented. Because all mentalism, all magic, all spiritual stuff is an inside job. It's all designed to make you a better, more vibrant person on the inside. And these skills and techniques should be used ethically, not necessarily morally. A little short here with this one. We're going to be clocking in at a little under 20 minutes. All right, so a little over 15 minutes. This is being done more in a podcast format, as I've said before. What you're getting is the audio with a single visual that may change here and there. This is designed to be listened to more so than watched. There's definitely a lesson in it. If you are seeking the knowledge that this presents, you'll understand every bit of it and will have no problem. You'll be actually looking for more. I hope this helps you on your quest. If you're looking to hoodoo somebody to be deceptive, or you think you're going to get some shyster points or whatever, most of what you've heard is just going to be words. My name is Joey Sapp. I have a Doctor of Law from the University of Georgia. I did postdoctoral studies, clinical hypnotism. I was a registered certified hypnotherapist, and in my daily life, I regularly embed commands to influence people to be better people, to increase their self-esteem, to give them the good sort of pride, and to take them out of the despair that misery and humiliation and trauma can give them. I can't do the EDMSR, I think that it is, therapy, which is basically the therapy that was created through a medical therapist that uses social work techniques. Those cats just go through and literally rewrite the master boot record of the trauma and reset your brain. It's almost like they just clear the partition table so that you can't access it, but they require you to actually live through the trauma. What I try to do is get to the root cause of the angst, the feelings, and most people that have problems, most shattered people, sexual abuse, physical abuse, feelings of abandonment, feelings of non-entity, betrayal, all those sorts of things, you can come up from. Everyone's worthy of something. So don't use the skills that you're learning here to harm people. But again, you can be amoral, you can be immoral as long as you're honest. Ethics are very important. Also, remember that if you don't have all the pieces, you're not playing the game you think you are. Once the play is in motion, it cannot stop until it's done. Once the cascade begins, it must complete itself in order to go on. Once a prime stimulus is introduced into a circumstance, which a key stimulus is artificially creating circumstances for something to happen naturally, introducing a catalyst, you activate a set of conditions which must continue until its end in order to complete, or it will restart. Those are very important concepts as you go and observe the world. Has very little to do with the influencing decisions, but it is something that we will look at probably in the next round of master classes, should I get around to them, on audio, which is actually in the cause-effect section of my talk on the 7 Hermetic principles and how they constitute a runtime formula for circumstantial manipulation and projections. It's a good way to understand the past, good way to plan for the future. And when you really get it down and understand it to your very bone and sinew, the 7 laws, the all is mind, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Gender not being male and female, but gender being the mutually exclusive on or off binary. That's what we'll be talking about in that one. Those are the 7 Hermetic laws, left to us by Hermes Trismegistus 5,000 years ago. And it's been passed mouth to ear, from master to student, from hierophant to applicant. And when that veil's removed, it's a motherfucker, man. So if that's what you're looking for, be very careful. I also suggest Thomas Troward's The Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Sciences, which will help you understand the first law. The Doré Lectures on Mental Science by Thomas Troward, which will help you understand the second law. Everything else is in the Kabbalion and in the writings of William Walker Atkinson, at least as expressed in modern terms. Also, check out Lord Chesterfield's letters to his son, specifically 14, 15, 17, 20, and 22, 88, 89, 100, and 101. Some direction in a rudderless world. My name's Joey Sapp again. Thank you for tuning in. If you listened, I know you'll have gained a lot from this one.